The way Princess Leonor adjusted her gloves before the military inspection this week was so small most people probably missed it. But I swear, that tiny movement said more about her transformation than any palace statement ever could. Because a year ago, Leonor still looked like someone learning how to survive royal pressure. Now, she looks like someone learning how to control it. And honestly, I don't think the military training just changed her schedule. I think it changed her personality. Intro. You can almost divide Leonor's life into two versions now. Before the military training, and after it. That's not media exaggeration either. The energy is different. The posture is different. Even the way she scans a crowd feels different. And I know some people will say, well, obviously. That's what military discipline does. Sure, but I think something deeper happened here that the palace maybe didn't even expect. Because this wasn't just training for duty. It became training for identity. And the scary part, it worked. If you're new to Leonor's story, subscribe, I post every day. Because what we're watching now isn't just a princess growing up in public. It's Spain quietly testing whether this young woman can eventually carry an entire institution on her shoulders. And lately, more people are starting to believe she can. Section 1. Why this feels different from normal royal PR. Here's my issue with most royal coverage in 2026. It's shallow. Every headline says the same thing. Elegant, graceful, confident, future queen. Okay, but why are people suddenly feeling that way? That's the interesting part nobody breaks down. And I think the answer is simple. Leonor stopped looking protected. That's the shift. Before military training, the public mostly saw her through palace framing. Ceremonies, controlled appearances, carefully managed moments. But military environments are unpredictable. They expose weakness immediately. Fatigue, pressure, stress. Hierarchy. You can't Photoshop discipline. That's why audiences trust it more. And honestly, Spain may have accidentally found the perfect strategy for monarchy survival in the social media era. Because while other royals are fighting endless image wars online, Leonor is building credibility the old-fashioned way, through endurance. That matters now, especially when audiences are exhausted by performative celebrity culture. Section 2. The face of someone under pressure. I noticed something else recently. Leonor smiles less now, not in a negative way, more in a focused way. And before people twist that into drama, listen carefully. I actually think that's a sign of maturity. There's a certain seriousness that appears when someone realizes their life is no longer fully theirs. And I think military life forced that realization faster than expected. You can see it in her eyes sometimes. Not sadness, awareness. Big difference. It reminds me a little of the shift people noticed in Prince William after his military years. Suddenly the public stopped seeing a young royal and started seeing responsibility. And weirdly, Leonor's transformation feels even more intense because of her age. She's not just preparing for a role. She's preparing for permanence. That's psychologically heavy. Honestly, I don't think enough people talk about how isolating that must be. Imagine being 20 years old and knowing every expression on your face gets analyzed by millions. That changes you. Of course it does. Section 3. The palace may have created something bigger than expected. Now here's my hot take. I think the Spanish monarchy originally saw military training as symbolic branding. Strong future queen, duty, tradition, national unity, standard monarchy strategy. But I genuinely think something unexpected happened. People connected emotionally to Leonor's effort. That's different from admiring royalty. Effort creates attachment because audiences feel they're witnessing sacrifice in real time. And in 2026, sacrifice is rare in celebrity culture. That's why Leonor suddenly feels more relatable than influencers who constantly try to look relatable. Ironically, she isn't trying at all. And that authenticity is becoming powerful. Honestly, if Mr. Beast were analyzing royal branding right now, he'd probably say the Spanish monarchy accidentally discovered the perfect content formula. Stop showing luxury. Start showing struggle. Because struggle creates emotional investment. That's exactly what's happening here. Section 4. Why her mother probably noticed the change first. I keep wondering about Queen Letizia during all this. Because mothers notice personality changes before the public does. And I honestly think Letizia probably saw the transformation months before everyone else. The discipline, the emotional restraint, the sharper awareness. Military structures change how people carry themselves physically, yes, but they also change emotional reactions. You become more measured. And Leonor now feels extremely measured. Sometimes almost too measured. That's the one part one think viewers should pay attention to. Because there's always a hidden cost when someone matures publicly this fast. You gain composure, but sometimes lose spontaneity. And maybe that's the real sacrifice nobody talks about in royal life. The public praises strength, but strength often comes from pressure. Section 5 Why Europe is watching her so closely. This isn't just about Spain anymore. That's another thing people underestimate. Leonor is becoming a symbol for whether younger monarchies can still feel relevant in modern Europe. That's why comparisons to Kate Middleton keep happening online. Kate represents stability through elegance. Leonor represents stability through preparation. Different strategies, same goal. And honestly, I think younger audiences are responding more strongly to Leonor right now because her story feels active. She's not standing still, she's evolving publicly. That creates narrative momentum. And narrative momentum is everything online now. People don't return daily for perfection. They return for progression. That's something a lot of faceless channels actually misunderstand. The audience isn't just following Leonor. They're following transformation. That's why every appearance suddenly feels important. People are subconsciously asking, how different will she look next time? Section 6 The moment I realized she changed forever. There was one clip recently where Leonor stepped out during a formal military appearance and immediately scanned the environment before smiling at the crowd. That sounds tiny, but psychologically, that's training. Awareness before emotion. And that's when it hit me. This isn't temporary anymore. The military didn't just teach Leonor protocol. It rewired how she responds to pressure. And honestly, I think that transformation is permanent now. She carries herself differently. She reacts differently. Even silence feels different around her. That's hard to explain unless you've watched someone slowly grow into responsibility in real time. And maybe that's why audiences are suddenly becoming emotionally attached to her story. Because deep down, people recognize growth when they see it. Real growth, not social media performance growth. Actual transformation. Section 7 The hidden risk. But let me end with something important. Not every transformation is entirely positive. Because while Spain may be gaining a stronger future queen, Leonor may also be losing parts of ordinary young adulthood forever. That's the uncomfortable truth underneath all the praise. Every disciplined appearance earns public respect. But every disciplined appearance also builds expectations she may never be allowed to escape from again. And that pressure can become addictive for institutions. Once the public sees strength, they demand more strength. More composure, more perfection, more symbolism. And that's dangerous for any human being, especially someone this young. Which is why I think the next few years matter so much. Not just for the monarchy. For Leonor herself. Outro. Still, I can't deny what we're all seeing. The military training changed her. Not cosmetically, not politically, personally. And whether people love monarchy or hate it, I think most viewers can sense the same thing now. Princess Leonor doesn't walk into rooms the same way anymore. There's more control, more awareness, more gravity, almost like she already understands what's waiting for her in the future. And maybe that's why so many people can't stop watching her right now. Because we're witnessing something rare in real time. Not a princess pretending to become a queen, but a young woman slowly realizing she actually will become one.